Welcome to the realm of magic and mystery, classic horror and sci-fi. You are now entering the House of the Unusual podcast with your hosts, Eddie and Joe. Welcome all you cool ghouls and friendly fiends to the House of the Unusual podcast. I'm your host, Joe Pavlansky, and with me as always are my good friends, my good buddies, my compadres, my amigos, Eddie Guevara,
amigos, yes, sir.
And Cheri Caputo. What's up, everyone?
All right.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay,
all right. And you know what? And we might have a crying baby in the background, so that's our other guest as well. So if you guys hear crying, it's not Eddie. It is a baby that is doing slave labor for him. So he just wants some food and all that. But hey, that's what goes on here when we're doing the podcast live, which is great. So hey, how's everybody going? I'm going to start with the Caputos over there, Chuck and Cheri. How's everything been over in Pennsylvania land?
I'll tell you what, it's been raining like crazy here. Woo! I mean, it rained all day pretty much yesterday, especially at night. It poured.
Yeah, it was horrible.
I mean, it was really, really bad, but it's
a lot of people lost their lights for many hours.
Yeah,
we were fortunate we didn't lose our lights.
Yeah, for some reason, the lights stayed on because ours go off usually pretty quick. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you know what? Keeping busy. I got a show tomorrow that Cheri's going to help me with, and we're going to go to. It's an assisted living place actually, so that'll be pretty cool. It's around 2:00 tomorrow, so we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, and
Chuck, one of the greatest thing for you is you always got assisted living. Half the patients are dead, so you can't really. They won't judge you.
Yeah, you know what? And if they can't hear, I just turn up the PA system. I just put it louder. You know what I mean? And it works out. It works out well. But hey, we checked out that movie the other day, which I had seen it before, but first time Cheri saw it.
I wanted to see it.
Yeah, The Bat. That was a really cool.
The Bat.
Really cool.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, good.
That was wild. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really neat with Agnes Moorehead and.
I watched the black and white one. You saw the color?
I think there's a colorized version, if I'm not mistaken. I think I watched the. A while back.
I was going to say I have the colorized version. The funny thing about it is Agnes Moorehead actually looks nice there compared to Bewitched, which she was kind of hideous.
Oh yeah, she looked pretty bad. And then the one woman on there, the one girl that got struck by the bat on the steps was Darla from the Little Rascals, Darla Hood.
Darla Hood, yeah.
Yeah. You know, the thing that was weird, though, Joe, there was no blood anywhere. I mean, like, this guy got a claw that looks like a raven's claw. He slashes people's throats, but there's no blood.
No blood.
I don't get it.
That's what I kind of like about the black and white movies. And I have this discussion with a buddy of mine all the time, and I think he's in his early 80s, maybe 80, 81, somewhere around there. And, we try to meet up once a week for coffee, and we'll watch some old movies or serials or TV shows. And he's not a big fan of gore, and I could kind of go either way. He used to like the gore stuff, but now he's kind of moved on to it, and that's almost how I am. If I'm watching like an 80s horror movie, I could appreciate the gore in it, but I kind of like the fact that when you watch a black and white, you usually don't see too much gore. Blood. There are some, especially the pre-code, where you will see some blood, but I'm good with it. To me, it's more about the story. And even in The Bat, even though it's a B movie, it's, you don't have that gore and all that. It's still a cool movie to watch.
Yeah,
it's a good movie.
Yeah. You know what? The whole setting about the house and everything, it was just really cool. And then the other day, the other thing we've been doing, Cheri and I went on to a local radio station, so we went on for like an hour type of an interview, which is cool, out here in Pittsburgh. And so, you know what, it's like to promote the local businesses out here in my area, so that worked out really well. So we mentioned the House of the Unusual and stuff like that, and so it was
cool. Talked about
that.
Magic.
Yeah, we talked about
Magic career, how he started.
Yeah, it was
how we met and all that good stuff.
And then we made one more excursion. I don't want to go too long on this, but we went to the cemetery and we went to Mr. Rogers' grave.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's about an hour away from Pittsburgh. He's out in Latrobe, PA. And we actually put a little video up on YouTube. So if you have a chance to check it out, we went right to his mausoleum. I tell you what, the one thing I did want to say about him is he seemed like a really, really nice man. I mean, there's no controversy the guy was ever involved in. you know what, it was always on the up and up. I mean, he seemed like
Yeah.
a really decent man, you know.
Yeah, very caring.
Yeah.
I
So
tell you what, I seen someone sent me, it said the most wholesome meme ever, and it was obviously someone did it with Photoshop, but it was Fred Rogers wearing a shirt of Bob Ross standing next to Steve Irwin under a rainbow.
oh,
Oh, that's cute.
I
I
mean,
like that.
yeah, I like that's really cool. I tell you.
Yeah. It was really cool how they did it and all that. But hey, you were talking about the storms before. I tell you what, we got the same thing here.
Yeah.
I was sleeping. I think it was maybe Monday or Sunday. I can't remember which one, but I was sleeping in the morning because I work nights. So this had to be about 10 or 11, and the whole, like, I heard a boom and the whole house shook.
Oh my.
I jumped out of bed. My dogs jumped out of bed. And I said, "What the heck's going on?" And my wife was working, in the other room because she teaches from home, and she came running in and she goes, "Oh, that was just thunder." And I said, "Are you sure?" And she goes, "Yeah, there's a big storm." And I thought it was, we live about a block away from a gas station. I thought the gas station blew up. It was so
Oh my God.
loud,
That's
Wow.
crazy.
shook everything. So I'm like, "Oh, okay." I looked outside. I seen the dark skies and everything. I'm like, "Oh, this is cool." And it started to rain. I'm like, "But I'm tired. I'm gonna go back to sleep." So I got to hear the rain, and just as I'm falling asleep, boom! It hits again and shakes the whole house. I was like, "What the heck is going on, man?" But finally, it kind of subsided a bit, and I got to fall asleep to the rain. But I haven't heard thunder like that in this area in a long time.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
It
been
was a
getting
wicked
yeah,
storm.
that's been getting pretty brutal. And we did get some water down in our basement. I checked,
Ooh,
Did we?
Yeah, you know what? I mean,
Yeah.
when it rains real hard like that, you know what? I French drained this place twice already,
Yeah.
and my fingers are twisted and gnarled. I can't do it anymore.
You're tired.
That's about it. I'm old and sick. I don't feel like doing it anymore. So some came in, not much, but I mean, you know, but
That's what
yeah.
happens when it rains real hard.
yeah, this is an older house too we live in.
Yeah.
This is not a young house here.
No.
Yeah, that's ours. Is I know when we moved in, the lady that had it prior to my grandfather, she must have put some big money into waterproofing the basement because it is the whole inside's done and the outside. I mean, there had to be a lot of money she put into it. So I
Yeah.
was like, thank God I don't have to do nothing with it. It is the only thing I did when I came in is that I put a fresh coat of um water
Waterproof.
paint
Yeah,
on the walls in the basement just to add that extra.
to add
And
it.
then I used the what's it called? The fruit cellar. I wanted to use that for storage, so I put waterproof paint on the walls there, and then I kept the door open, which is right by my what do you call it, dehumidifier, so
Yeah.
I don't get any type of moisture or anything in there.
Hey,
So
that's a big plus, Joe. I tell you what, because I know a few people that have like hidden sub pumps, that click on, and
Yeah.
because so much water comes into their basement. So that's an ongoing problem, I think, especially with these older houses. You know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely. All right, man. So hey, glad you guys could come on and everything, and I'm gonna switch it over to Eddie Guevara and see
Oh
what's
wow.
new with him. So what's up, Eddie?
Hey, Eddie.
Well, hey guys, one of the things I'm going to say though is kind of funny because when you're talking about that loud thunder, I wonder if it's the same one that woke up my daughter, not last night, the night before. She goes to me, "Daddy, did you wake up?" And I go, "I slept right through it, but it was so loud. It was so loud it woke her up and woke up my wife too." So I'm wondering if that could have been the same one. But you know what though? It's been raining a lot, but praise Jesus. I gotta say this, man. When I was doing the truck, I got the truck. Yes, it was a Monday. It was raining in the morning. I rented the truck by 11:30 a.m. whatever, and it stopped raining. And it didn't rain again in all day. It was cloudy, but we were able to do and it was the biggest truck yet. Even though we were finished at 11:30 at night. Then we went to grab a bite. Me and Jim, my buddy Jim, which I thank for that because Jim was actually helping me in all 5 truckloads. And
Wow.
I couldn't do it. If he wouldn't have helped me, I would have been dead because it's been crazy. And now I still have to rent tomorrow a van or a 10-foot truck to finish taking the stuff out of my office here. So I'm not completely out of the woods yet. And then I have a whole month of organizing. insane. But you know what? I might even film that. That might be pretty cool. As I'm,
Yeah, that would be a
oh,
good idea. Eddie, put that on film. That would be
Yeah,
kind
we'd
of
like to see that.
that'd be kind of neat.
yeah, because I could fast forward it, not fast forward it, but like time lapse and stuff, and
Mhm.
it'll be great. But one thing I'm going to tell you guys, and this is no kidding, um, moving and collecting, and here's two big things about this. We start buying things, and we go, "Hey, this is a great item. This is a great item." Like a good example for now. Now, I got already enough as it is. Now, all of a sudden, I'm getting the pastry chef, which I'm sure it's a box the size of a Charmin box.
It's
I'm
pretty
getting,
big.
yeah, I'm getting the other thing, the haunted desk from Chuck. And at the same time, when I went to Chiller, it was kind of ironic. They had a thing I've never seen before. It's a 1961 Mercury capsule, and it's like the Polaris nuclear sub where it folds paper. It's actually in pretty good condition. It's got the instructions, never been built.
Wow, that would be
And
cool, man.
yeah, I'm not sure exactly. I think I remember seeing it in an early 60s. Boys Life magazine might have had an ad for it or something, but I don't remember. It doesn't really say anything but Space Capsule. This is the name of the company. And at the same time, I was going through another vendor. There's a vendor that's got an 11 by 17 sheet, and it has "I Dream of Jeannie" just getting married to Major Nelson, but they're sitting inside a Mercury 7 space capsule.
Is
It
that
looks
Oh,
cool?
it
Wow.
looks identical. It fit right into the picture, so I even threw it into the original box.
that's
Um, so that was a pretty good find, and it was a decent bargain I got. But then again, the guy was selling for a little bit over $500, but I was able to negotiate a price because I know the guy. He's an awesome guy. His name is Norm, and he usually, does Chiller Theater every year. And I also know him from the PAL, which is a flea market. He's been there for like 20 some odd years there. He gets a lot of stuff. He had quite a few things there. And so, having said that, it's been a great, fantastic week. For some reason, this Chiller was a lot better than all the other ones I've been to in a while. And I found it ironic because there weren't not that many people because we go on Friday evening. So we go right before Saturday is crazy. But we were there. We had, Heather Thomas, a lot of the actresses were there, which, was pretty. Um, I know that my friend Charlie, he got lucky. I was going to post some of the actual footage on not the forum, but on the blog. But one of the things I was going to say about it is that the guy from MASH, you have MASH, you have the cook. Jim found a cookbook on eBay that goes usually for 100 and some bucks, and he was able to get it at a good price. And then he had the cook actually sign it for him. So now,
Oh
Oh,
wow.
nice.
oh, that's nice.
yeah, Charlie was super happy. Now, me myself, I got to be honest, I don't care for MASH. I never liked MASH. My wife used to love the show, watch it every day. Um, I just could never sit down and say I found MASH funny or anything. But that's
I
just
tell
me.
you what, that was a long show. How long was that in syndication? That was pretty,
Oh,
About
pretty
13 years or more. They
13
called it at
years.
wow.
one time, yeah, the longest running. Like I said, I don't know why. Um, I don't like the show. I know Joe has every action figure of the show. I don't like the show. I just don't care for it for some reason.
I actually never got into MASH. I've watched it. I used to watch it a few times when I was young with my grandmother, but for some reason, I never got into it. It just wasn't. I don't
Well,
know. I didn't
that's
find it
A
funny or
little bit. Parts of it were actually funny. You know what?
Yeah.
But they did change the characters a lot. I mean, throughout the years, they did change the main characters, except for Ellen Aldo. But they did switch quite a few people out of there. But yeah, I thought it was overall pretty good. It was pretty humorous. But but you mentioned I Dream of Jeannie. Here's a fun fact. This is pretty cool. That cool bottle that was actually used on the show itself. That is a 1964 Jim Beam, a Christmas edition bottle.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yep. And I found a guy on, I think it was Etsy, who actually makes these things. He cuts them from a laser type of thing.
Mm.
And so I purchased a little plastic one. Well, it's about 8 inches tall, and so I put a smoker in it. Like from the old train sets we had when we were kids.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, so I put a smoking generator in there, and so when you secretly push the button, smoke comes out of it when you take the lid off. It's like really really cool, man. But that bottle always caught my eye, and I finally found out exactly what the heck that thing was.
you
Like I
you
said, it was a 1964 Christmas edition Jim Beam bottle.
You know what's funny about that? What you're talking about is that I found that bottle, the Gene Bean bottle you're talking about. I'm going to look for it because I said, wow, this looks like the Genie bottle. And I bought it in a flea market for like $1 something. But you know what's funny though? When I Dream of Genie was there in Chiller about, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, give or take, or maybe before, I think it might have been 4, I don't know, 4 or 5. I lose track of time. I'm not good in timekeeping, but
tell me about
it. Genie was there, and so was Major Healy, and this was a little bit before Larry Hagman died. So the year I met him, it was like he died 6 months. So that was when I got to meet Genie. Now Larry Hagman was there. I thought he was kind of like an interesting character because I went to say hi. He said hi, but he's in a wheelchair. And when I went to have him sign or something or take a photo, they always, some people don't take photos. There's some characters, and it wasn't Larry, but whoever was with him there. So I wound up getting his autograph because I bought the I Dream of Genie bottle. They were selling it for $125, and each autograph, if you bought the bottle, the autographs were, I think, 25 instead of you can get all 3 autographs for 75 instead of the normal 50 per autograph. So I got the bottle autographed by them 3. Major Healy was kind of nice because he gave me an additional autograph to that. He didn't charge me for it. He gave me a photo and he took pictures for me. I thought he was phenomenal. In fact, I've met him twice already, and he's a really, really cool guy. He jokes around with you.
Oh, that's nice. Is he still alive? Is he still alive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And like I said, he's phenomenal because he took pictures with me, took pictures with my wife, my daughter, and he was just phenomenal. And Jeannie was such an awesome person. I said to her, it's funny, I called the Jeannie and she says, no, she goes, my name is actually Barbara Jean. No, I said, I'm sorry. I said, Jeannie, I go, I'm sorry. She goes, no, my name is Barbara Jean. So she goes, it's fine. That's it. So I go, do you mind if I film? And she goes, no. So I was standing literally in front of her face, about 15 inches away, a foot away in the line. And I was filming her for like a good, let me, she was there talking. And then she took photos with me, my wife, everybody. And actually, if you go to Etsy and you look at photos, I think there's a photo of me and her there.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, she seems like she's a pretty nice person. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way they should be, though.
Awesome. Well, you know what? A lot of people don't realize she was there a little bit after her son had committed suicide. So I got to admit, though, she was, in really good spirits based on, she went through. Now, one thing I never understood is how instead of making or some, her actual husband was that guy, the hideous looking guy, the big tall guy in the show that always used to be like the master. Remember, he would grab her by the hair.
Oh, really?
Michael, what's his name? Michael something. Yeah, that was her husband.
Wow.
I think unless I'm wrong, I think they're still married or something. Yeah, unless he passed away. But you know what I'm talking about, right? The big guy that looked like Lurch.
Yeah, I think I do remember. Well, I'm gonna have to Google this. Wow,
yeah, let's check it out.
Is that something?
Yeah, that Michael, I forgot his name, Michael something, but that's her husband. And I was like, how did he score such a guy? She was really pretty, and he's kind of like a gruesome looking guy, he looks more like a Lurch or something.
A gruesome looking guy.
That's you know what I mean? You guys remember the Gruesomes with the Flintstones next door, the neighbors, the Gruesomes?
Oh, yeah.
That's
pretty funny.
Wife Rapella.
You mentioned Larry Hagman. I think he needed a liver transplant at some point in his life, if I'm not mistaken. I know he was in pretty bad health there for a while.
The thing with Larry Hagman, and I'll tell you what, at the same room where Jeannie was and all that, they had the entire cast of Dallas as well as Jeannie. So, Larry Hagman was getting both sides of the fence, The guy Duffy, Patrick Duffy, who played his brother, what really shocked me, and this was shocking, Jim, my buddy, 6'5", and Patrick Duffy was higher than him. I reached the guy. I was like underneath his shoulder. That's how small I am next to the guy. And I'm like, wow, this guy on TV looks so small. He looked like he was the size of Major Nelson. So I think what it is Larry Hagman. I mean, the way they do the TV, and I noticed this the other day, where they have, if you watch The Blacklist, for example, I love The Blacklist and stuff. The guy who plays there, the Cooper, that plays the part of the, the head of the FBI, he's really tall. He's like a huge, tall guy. And when he's standing next to that, somehow they put the cameras for the other guys from the up down. I mean, from down up. to
Right.
make them look taller next to him, because
Yeah.
he's really a big guy, and I do that to compensate in size with people.
Hmm.
But I mean, that's a lot of the things that are happening. But that's what I think they did with But like I said, girl who played his wife, I forgot her name. She looked pretty young. Larry Hagman, who played, the girl who played his wife in Dallas.
Right.
I forgot her. And the blonde one was there too. The one that was no, not that one. I'm thinking Dynasty, because they had a room there. They had the Dynasty cast too, and the blonde lady that played Dynasty with the guy who played the main character. I forgot his name, but I used to watch those shows religiously. But I kind of forgot a lot about him. And
Yeah.
they kind of look pretty good for their age. And one
Mhm.
person that really blew me away was Bionic Woman. She was
Oh,
there, Lindsay.
What we were just saying.
yeah.
About her, like, she was very, very, and this one show had a big cast, and among one of those people too was Elvis Presley's ex-wife. I mean, Priscilla Presley, right?
Oh, yeah, Priscilla.
And this was kind of funny. We're going in the room now. This is the catch. They want $100 for her to sign any autograph you do, right? Now the
Wow.
thing that's funny about her, yeah, they were. She had a huge line out the door, so we waited online because I had acquired a book for me that was the wedding of her and Elvis, and I was going to have her sign that book. So I'm waiting in the line, and I noticed that there's another little that they're telling you that for an additional $50 or $25, I forgot what they were charging, they would give you a Providence certificate, like to prove it was an actual signature. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I had my iPad on my chest, right? So I set my iPad to record, and I'm holding it up against my chest, and I'm just like going around, and lady says to me, you can't. I said, I'm not recording, I'm just holding the iPad. And I was holding, and I recorded the whole scene of her signing and talking to me. Like, I'm gonna pay another, get out of here. But the thing that's really interesting about the whole thing is that Priscilla Presley, one thing that really amazed me. Now, here's a lady who could be my mother, because we're talking Elvis Presley back in the 50s and stuff.
That's
And
true.
this lady, for her age, I know it must be Botox galore or whatever, but she was attractive.
Yeah.
Like I said to my wife, it was funny, and Jim, I said, Jim, I could actually go out with this woman. Like, she was that pretty up close. And I was really, really thrown back, because she's got to be over 70 when I,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, she's probably about
and
75. Yeah.
but the same thing I can't say for Heather Thomas. The poor thing didn't age as well as she, she should have.
Isn't that something? Wow.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of actors that it's just the same thing as the guy that, the guy from what do you call that movie? Oh my gosh, I forgot. He was in a wheelchair. Michael something was his name.
Oh,
I
Jan Michael Vincent. Is that?
Yes, Jim Michael Vincent. That
Yeah.
guy, man, that poor guy. He was there. He was signing. He's in a wheelchair. It looked like he was
Yeah.
missing an eye. He looked. Oh, I don't know why he even went to that show. Poor guy. And then he passed
Yeah.
away a little while. Yeah, but there was a lot of actors really throw you off when you see them in person,
Oh,
as
absolutely.
compared to when you see them in the movies.
You
Yeah.
mentioned,
But
you know
anyway,
what? I think as far as heights go, you had mentioned heights. I think Vincent Price. I'd have to Google this, but I think he was a pretty tall guy. I would say 6'4", somewhere around there. It seems like it.
He was real kind of tall and lanky almost.
you
Yeah,
can
you
tell
could.
because he's kind of like hunched over. Don't you notice he's kind of hunching over when he's
Yeah,
doing a
yeah.
lot of his movies? Yeah.
You know what? And if you look at his bone structure, like his legs are real long, his torso's real long. I wouldn't doubt if he was about 6'4", somewhere around there. You know what I mean? Yeah, hey, I'm lucky
I
I'm five. You know what? I'm lucky I'm 5'10". I'm 5'10". My grandfather, he was 5'1". Can you believe that? Oh my, yeah. Boy, he
Wow.
was. Yeah, he was a little Italian guy, and I tell you what, I'm very lucky I'm 5'10", man.
You
What?
know,
I'll take it. I'll take it, man.
Oh.
when you're saying the heights and stuff like that, a lot of people, we don't realize that, how tall some people are and stuff. But I saw Vincent Price a couple of months ago. I was rewatching F Troop. I think they had it on Cozy TV, if I'm correct, or I don't know if it was Cozy TV or Pluto TV.
Oh
And they
yeah.
had the one where Vincent Price goes to the camp, and Larry Storch, who plays Corporal Aegon, is scared because he thinks he's a vampire. I don't know if you guys saw it, but that was really funny, man.
Yeah,
And
Yeah, I used to watch that.
that was a funny
I
show. That was a great show.
F Troop is really great. I mean, I got to tell you, F Troop is one of those shows that you want to say, just like I think and I told you guys, I don't know if you guys ever watched, but the Guns of Will Sonnet. Wow, that's a darn good show, man. Those shows were done like really good.
Yeah.
And you know what it is? And Jim said this. Jim, my buddy, said this recently, and Charlie, we were talking about it. The way they typecast the people of like olden days, like Herman Monster, Lily, the way they typecast people for roles was phenomenal. Like they got such great actors to play those parts.
Oh, they
And
did.
today, yeah,
Yeah.
and one thing that recently really shocked me, and I'm so pissed off. I mean, it's bad enough I'm already disliking, but what I say about it is I found out they ditched for the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh yeah, Johnny
Depp.
Depp.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
Johnny
And
Depp gone.
that's a
yeah.
big mistake. That film is
That's a
about
huge mistake. I couldn't picture anybody else playing that part except Johnny Depp.
exactly. So I did the same thing with Two and a Half Men. Once
Mm-hmm.
I know Charlie, whatever Sheen, whatever, he had his issues, but he made the show. The
Oh,
moment he
absolutely.
was gone, the other guy was an idiot. The show went poof down the tubes, and that's
Yeah.
what's going to happen with Pirates. That's going to be the last one. I'm not even going to bother watching if Johnny Depp, because
Yeah, he was cool. He was cool
Yeah, we love him.
as Jack Sparrow. He's a good actor.
He really is.
He really is fantastic. He really is. Wow.
yeah, that's and I mean, and for something stupid, they still in court. You haven't even proved the damn thing. So how can you accuse somebody without having the proof first?
Exactly.
But,
See, that's the thing. What's happening now? I mean, you can't take people's word for it. Whatever happened to what a person's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty.
That's true.
I mean, come
Yeah.
on, man. This is ridiculous. I don't know.
yeah, so Disney, I don't know the Disney. I think Disney made a big mistake with that. In fact, I think they should just cut out the whole. It's just like with Star Wars. Star Wars is okay, 1, 2, 3, but now when you got 15 different Star Wars, come on, man.
Oh my
I
Yeah,
hate Star Wars already.
they got carried away. That's like it's going to be Rocky 17. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it gets to that point where you got to either you got to end the trend. Like I mean, come on, Halloween. I know Joe isn't that. How many Halloweens are you gonna have? What's the
Yeah.
end story? Okay, the guy you can't kill him. He comes down. He kills a bunch of. At the end of the day, he's still alive. You
Yeah.
can't. You don't. That's why I don't like movies like that. I just hate them.
I do
Yeah.
too. I don't like them.
Yeah. If you saw in the old days, the House on Haunted Hill,
Oh.
the Bat, it had like an ending to the darn thing.
Yeah, that's
films-
right. That's right. There was a definite ending. There was no lead in to a possible sequel. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, we should hold Joe responsible for this because he is the curator of Crypt of Classics. I think he's at fault here. Joe, answer your prayers, brother.
They're just. I think they just look to see what kind of money they could make off these franchises, like
right.
Halloween, and they've redone Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now they just redid a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think it was a direct sequel to the original one, and it was pretty horrible. I mean, they tried to inject, kind of like the the way people act today and everything, and like the whole wolf culture, and it didn't work out. It was no story, and they were like, well, how could we make it just very gruesome and bloody and gory? And there was really no story. It was kind of stupid. And
yeah, absolutely. Hey, there's a movie when I was in high school that I watched, and I actually have it on DVD. I'll pop it in once a year. It kind of reminds me of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was Motel Hell. Do you remember that with?
Oh yeah, I remember Motel Hell.
Yeah, with Rory Calhoun. That was a cool movie.
Yeah, we like that one.
Yeah, that was from 1980, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I was in about maybe like 11th grade then when it came out. And it's just funny, man. Oh, it cracks me up. And,
yeah, I haven't seen that in a long time. Maybe I'll have to revisit that.
Yeah, it's an excellent movie.
Is that the one where he has? Is that the one where he has a pig's head on his?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see, that's why.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, he was Farmer Vincent. Remember, he said it takes a lot of fritters to make. No, it takes a lot of critters to make Farmer Vincent's fritters. Yeah, he would like cut people up and make sausage out of them and stuff.
He planted them in the ground and remember they had the bags over their head?
Yeah, he planted them in the ground, and it was funny, man. It was hilarious.
I might have to revisit it. I think I actually have that on VHS somewhere. I'm gonna have to check it out. Because I know it's been a long time since I've seen that.
That brings back memories.
I'm going to tell you guys something. One of the films, and especially when you talk about old films, I think this film should never have been made. I think the last film the Wolfman was involved in. I don't know if it's Dracula versus Frankenstein or the Wolfman versus Dracula. I forgot what it was. But that film was such a piece of garbage. I think I went 10 minutes into the film, 20 minutes, and I turned it off. I was like, wow, man, this guy, a legend, in the monster business, should never have done that film.
Which film was that, Eddie?
I don't know. I think the last one that Lon Chaney was in. I don't know. Carnival. It was very, they made it horrible. The background music, everything. You know what? It looked like something I would go to Joe's house and film on a regular day like that with no freaking backdrop or anything. It was horrible. And I got to tell you something, which is funny too. One film that was not that great, but I was able to meet in this chiller was the guy, his name, he goes under the name Victor Sorgov or something like that. And Sargo, I think. And he appeared in the 1971 Dracula versus Frankenstein. The film is not that great, but I was there and he was charging $10 for an autograph. So I was surprised that we got 3 of them. And, the guy was pretty decent. He actually agreed to come on the podcast if I call him. And he gave me his information. So I found that. But one thing, Joe, that this is a good thing for the future. And I'm sure Joe is going to love this. There's a guy who wrote a movie. They directed a movie. It's coming out. It's going to be available in the next chiller in October. And it's called something about Boris Karloff, The Unmasking or something like that. And it was co-produced by Sarah Karloff. It's like a really, really good film. I forgot the name of it right now, to be honest. If you look it up, I'm sure that the chiller site has it. But he also agreed to be on our podcast, along with a guy that wrote the 10 best horror films of all time, a book. He said he would be in as well, so we can have a couple of good guests coming up.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Wow, that's great.
And for the 100th episode, I'm going to have Sarah pop in. So how many shows are we away from our?
I think we are. Let's see. I have to look on our podcast. We should only be maybe about 5 or so.
Wow.
Yeah, I have to make
4.
I have to make sure Sarah's available.
It says we have 94 episodes, so this would be 95 right here. So 5 more.
Wow.
Okay, 5 more weeks. Wow. So, you see, go ahead. What were you saying?
I said, yeah, it's coming up quick.
Yeah, it is. And, and that will be the title. Joe comes out of his tombstone. Not only does he crawl out of the ground and slither up your neck, he will produce the 100th episode of House of the Unusual. Watch
I can't believe I can't believe it's already getting that many. I mean, it's been almost 3 years.
Well, you know what, Joe? I'll tell you what. This is what I said. I told the story many times. I started in 1985 with the idea that I would love to have a radio show. I already mentioned to you guys, I wound up buying some FM transmitters and all this stuff. Just buying articles on how to start your podcast and all this from 1995, 96. One day I get an email from a man named Joe Pavlansky, and he says, "How you doing, buddy? I haven't heard from you." I'm not like, I don't know. You mentioned something in the email that you wrote for Not Famous Monsters, that you wrote for Scary Monsters. So when you came on and said that, I called you up and I said, "Hey, Joe, why don't we do a podcast?" Well, and you're like, "Okay." And that's it, man. We started. Here's the trick. If you want to do a podcast, get together with a friend, call them on the phone, and have a regular conversation and broadcast it. As simple as that.
That's
There
true.
It
you
works
go.
that way.
Yeah.
We're already 100 episodes. If not, man, we were sucking our thumbs. Joe would have
Yeah.
still been writing for Scary Monsters with no, and now Joe is a famous celebrity worldwide.
Yeah.
In fact,
I still write
Joe,
for scary monsters. I tell you what, they have they're redoing Castle of Frank. Well, not redoing, but they're going to be republishing Castle of Frankenstein, starting with issue number 36. It says it's coming fall of this year. Not really much info on it, so I'll definitely be letting everyone know when that hits. They kind of have a cover done up, and it looks fantastic, kind of like in the spirit of the original Castle of Frankenstein's. And I guess they have the trademark rights and everything to it. So yeah, so it should be coming out sometime this fall.
Nice.
one of the things I'm going to tell you, Castle Frankenstein was a very good magazine back in the day. And one thing I'm going to say is, and I know this guy beat me to the punch. What's his name? Mr. Todd, Mr. AKA King of Sea Monkeys, who actually, believe it or not, he's been investigated for mistreating the sea monkeys, I hear.
Oh,
They're gonna. He's been running down, and being ruling with a rod of iron, iron fist. But the point is that with everything said, with the sea monkeys and all that stuff, he got Joe's magazine, and of course, he has been blasting it all over the site. He's been blasting it all just to prove that he got it and not me. So that's Mr. Todd for you. But I've been trying to get even with him. But here's the whole thing basically is that magazine that I got to tell you about, which is a Monster Bash, correct?
Yeah, the Monster Bash magazine.
That magazine is super well done. That's one thing I got to tell Ron. Ron, I'm for some reason I found it funny. He hasn't been in Chile consecutive times, but before he always used to set up a table there. And it was like a huge table, but I didn't see him this time there. I was surprised. But that's maybe because of, ever since the pandemic, a lot of people just kind of whatever.
I thought he did go to Chiller because I know he's been going all over the place. I thought he was down there.
I didn't see him, Joe, and I was there like looking because I usually go say hi to him and stuff. And sometimes I look at the latest issue he's got to get it, because that's about the only place you get Monster Bash. I don't think you can really buy it in stores.
No, you can get it from the website, or if you go to any of the dealers. But yeah, you would definitely know if he was there with all the DVDs and everything.
Yeah.
That
Let me ask you a question. Don't you write for Monster Bash?
No, no. I was thinking of sending an article in there, but he kind of does it where he doesn't really kind of solicit a theme. It's, you send him articles and he may use it next issue or 7 issues from now. So it's kind of like you write whatever and then send it to him, which I just got to find something kind of interesting and different to write. Then I send one to him. But I did contact him about a year ago.
Right about the House of the Unusual Radio podcast.
Yeah.
The horror that will wake you from the dead.
That would be a good subject.
Yeah, one thing I'm going to tell you, to be honest with you, Joe, I actually introduced you to, you might be hearing from him, Scream publisher for Scream magazine. Scream.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually introduced you, and I said that you were my co-host, and I said Joe is a very, very popular writer. He writes for, he's written for Famous Monsters. He's written for several things, and he publishes a lot of, when you go to CVS Pharmacy, those books of stuff like that. He's authored quite a few of it. I said, you should get, and he goes, really? So I gave him some information, and he might be reaching out to you because, Scream Magazine, it's got a pretty large circulation, and it's sold in a lot of stores like Barnes & Noble And the guy who puts it out, he always has a pretty good deal. He sells you the one issue for $10, or you get a special edition issue, $15, and he throws in a free D of he always has like a pretty good deal there.
I thought you were gonna say
And
his deal was one issue for $10 and get the second issue for $9.99.
no, actually, he puts out
that's a House of the Unusual deal. We'll sell you one book for $10, and if you buy that, we'll give you a special deal of the day for another one for $9.99.
There's only one for you know who made it. I go on if you guys go on Facebook has become a place where sometimes you can buy decent stuff, and they show. So this one lady's selling a trunk. Now this is an old trunk from the 1940s, and it kind of folds up like a closet, I think where you hang. So it's a small trunk, but it looks like you would put suits in one side, but you open it with wheels and you open it sideways. So, it has a compartment for suits in the left. It's like really cool. And it's got it for $15. So I respond and I say, is it still available? So then she writes back to me and says, yes, it's available, but I noticed she changed the price to $95 instead of $15. So she goes, are you still interested? And I wrote, yes, I was until you changed the price. But no, not anymore. Thank you. I like the way she pulled that one. That's like a fast one,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, one time I sent Joe $10 for a book. I went over to this, and he sent me half the book. He says, I forgot to tell you got to pay for shipping. So after you send me an additional $5, I'll send you the other half of the book.
Yeah, you get nothing. Hey, speaking of books, Chuck, what are those booklets that you posted on houseoftheunusuals.com's forum? Those are really cool. You got some fun with string, big bag of tricks.
Yeah, they're really cool. Yeah, shadow, hand shadows and so forth. I got that from eBay. I was looking around and there was 9 of them, and they're all in really good condition. I mean, I don't really see anything wrong with them. Everything's tight on there. There's no rips or anything. It seems like they're from 1943, like I put on there. And yeah, you know what? It's actually kind of cool, and yeah, there's some really cool stuff on there. And one is sporting games, like it explains in detail, like football, baseball, things of that nature. And so yeah, it's actually kind of cool. I was skimming through them. I'm going to read them a little bit more in detail.
I'm kind of interested in that one, the game of salvo as played by our armed forces. That looks like it might be really cool. That and the science of judo, commando tactics. That
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's an old one, Chuck.
Yeah, it's got
got
some cool moves on there.
Yeah, but let me tell you something about Chuck, Joe. No, I was going to say something about Chuck, Joe. When he shows you a book there, be careful, because every time he puts a book up in his thing, and I look it up, it's like $700 to get a copy. So, be careful on the price there.
I tell you what I could
half a vial of blood to get the books.
No, I tell you what I could do is, what, if Eddie wants to make a copy, I'm sure it's out of, it would be out of copyright 1943. I could send those two to him, and if he wants to spin off a couple copies or whatever, that wouldn't be a problem. But
yeah, those are cool. Even that I tell you what, that eye foolers one for parties, socials, and homes, a book of optical illusions. That looks really cool too, man.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of like those obscure little printed books like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, so it's kind of neat. I like that.
Now, Cheri, will you read any of those, or are those all Chuck's toys?
You know what? I'd like to check them out. I didn't really know that he did get those. So yeah.
I always
let me see that bank account now.
I'm always
be careful. You guys got to be careful, man.
I'm always sneaking packages in the house. You know what I mean? And,
I'm the same way. Hey, I'm the same way, man. I've always seen my wife will say, "Oh, what's that you got?" Oh, it's just a book or something, but I don't tell her the price or something. What book I got.
Let me tell you guys.
I could have got it at Barnes and Nobles, and this. Oh no, I got it for a real good price. And I'm like, oh, thank God we have a joint bank account, man, because I'd be paying for it more ways than one.
Joe, let me tell you something, my man. You got to do like I did the other day. I come from Chiller. Thank God, Jim sprung out and he got me the the thing. So I told my wife, "You can ask Jim." She goes, "You sure?" I go, "I didn't pay for it." But the funniest part about you're gonna like about this part is the fact that I go into Target and they're doing a marathon by my job, so I had no choice. They blocked off the road. Cop said, "I can't let you in, even though you work there, because people running. You gotta wait." So I get stuck in Target for about an hour, right? So I go, lo and behold, I'm walking around, twiddling my thumbs, and I'm like, the people are gonna think I'm crazy. Like, what am I doing just walking around the store? So I go towards the computer section, and in the back of the computer section where the TVs are, in the corner of my eye, I noticed a small Frankenstein. I go, "What?" So when I look over there, they're 8-inch action figures from NACA, NACA, I think it's the company, and they had, which is funny. They had 3 Wolfmans, different color boxes and stuff. Another Wolfman. They had King Kong, and I forgot which is the one. Oh my gosh, I never bought that. It's something with like a phantom. Looks like the Phantom of the Opera, but I forgot the name of the thing right now. But anyway, they had the Frankenstein was the only one that was left, right? So I wind up grabbing all 7 figures. When I go up, I thought they were like $14. When I go up, they were $35 a piece.
Holy smokes!
So I'm like, oh my God. So I go ahead and I got to take it for now because, if I have to change it, I'll exchange it. So I quietly put it in back of my car so nobody would see, my trunk. My wife goes shopping for 3 days, and I go, "Oh my God, I left the things." It was $280. So I'm like, if she sees that, she's gonna flip out, So I was like, luckily last night she drops me off the storage, and I'm dropping off thing, and I go open the trunk and I grab the bags quickly, put them in the thing, and I wheeled them upstairs. And imagine if she'll kill me. Because the thing is, I already have enough. But let me tell you, Joe, you've probably seen the action figures. They're really phenomenal. The Frankenstein has 3 heads. I think I bought the 2 King Kong versions they had because it's the same action figure, but the box artwork is different. And I just bought it on the spite of the moment. Now, I know in the forum, I'm trying to see if I have a picture here to see what company made it. I think it was NACA. I'm kind of
NECA made those. Yeah, they did a Wolfman, a Mummy, and they did 2 Frankensteins, a black and white one and a color one. And
I got the color one. Yeah,
I believe they have plans to do a Dracula and a creature here in the future, but they're releasing them, every so often. They didn't do like a mass release on them.
Well, something, I was filming Chiller as I was going around Chiller, and I noticed that they, in the Chiller, I noticed that, and you can see it in one of the videos if I posted, I saw one of the figures, the Frankenstein, they were selling for $54. So that means they're already, so I got it 35. I got it at the retail cost. But the thing is, it's really, really nice. It has 3 heads that you can interchange the heads, and it looks like Boris Karloff.
Somebody was definitely driving the price up on that because I've seen them all at the stores for anywhere for like $30-$35, somewhere around there. So whoever's got them that much is really, really, putting them higher than they should be.
Yeah, well, that's what I paid, $35. I was hoping it would have been a little cheaper. My daughter told me that online they were going for I think 32, and I'm like, if it's that, I got to take them to, but I'm gonna have to now go to Target with them, and because Target was selling it online for less, so they would credit me the difference. The problem is I got to sneak them back in the car on the day my wife is not around because I don't want her to see I spend that. Because I know you're listening, but she will kill me. And I just don't want until whatever. But the thing is with the action figures and stuff is that it looked really cool, man. I kind of I just got it out of whatever. But one thing I got to tell you guys, they're making some really, really nice things out there. I know the Universal monsters, they've been introduced with so many different varieties and different ways, just like the films. And you usually buy them all because if you like Dracula, Frankenstein, they are pretty nice to own,
Oh, absolutely. Hey, Joe, did you see the one picture I put on the forum of the Fright Factory, the Thing Maker? That was my favorite toy. That is
Yeah,
just so cool, man. Oh,
yeah, that was really cool. I took a look at it, and someone had posted a link to one for sale on eBay for $2,800. So I put on there, if anyone's got an extra, $2,800, let me know.
wow.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
that's a little bit overpriced, I think. But I tell you what, that's such a cool toy. And that's the one I had. It's actually marked on there. It's copyrighted, the one I have anyway, from 1966. But my parents bought it from me probably in about 67, maybe 68. I was about a 4-year-old kid. And you know what though? We used to play with that, my brother and I, for hours. That was just so much fun making all the different scary little creatures, the shrunken heads. It was just a lot of fun, man. Wow.
Oh yeah, I could imagine that thing looked really cool. And I've never seen one at any show or anything. So I don't know if that's like a rare item to find or what.
They
Yeah.
actually no. If you look, Norm, my buddy, the guy, he has one. I think it's on the show. He was asking 650 for it. I think.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's
they
a
did
little
come
bit
out
more
with a more
reasonable.
modern one. They did come out with a more modern one that we bought for our kids when they were younger, probably about 20 years ago. Which I will take a picture of that sometime and put that on the forum as well. Okay, but this has added safety features. Okay, like the actual burner where you put the molds in. It's inside of like an oven, and there's a timer on there, and it won't open until it's completely cool. You know what I mean? Like the one I played with was really dangerous. You know what I mean? Like you could burn your hands, you could burn your face. It's just a lot different.
Isn't that kind of like the atomic lab? I was actually looking for that atomic lab because when I found out it actually had radiation on the ship, I kind of want to get rid of it.
Yeah,
And
probably got.
I'm gonna have to take time, the next couple of weeks, open boxes and see what I got. And I know I got to get one because Mr. AKA King has been bothering me saying that I shouldn't yap and post. I bought the Moon Monster. Which you know what, it's like a 5-inch figure, and I bought it for, if I was correct, $45 in Chiller a couple of years ago when it came out. And I bought it because it was the Moon Monster. But then I was like, wow, this is a crappy little stupid toy. It's not really, it shouldn't be worth more than $10, to be honest with you. And I have it somewhere, but then he posted, he found it. He's like, hey, Eddie, maybe you would like this. And I'm like, I got it a long time ago. So then Mr. AKA Todd comes back and says, well, we're going to have to hold Mr. Guevara there to the T. Instead of I lost it, I can't find it. You better post it if you got it,
Yeah.
So I got to find it, man. And it's really hard, though, honestly, when you look at the amount of stuff I've collected and it really kind of like got me a little aggravated with myself that I have. I mean, I understand, but to have to get 5 10x10 storages and a 15x15
Oh my
just to
goodness.
put this, that's a little bit too much, I think,
You're not kidding.
6 years ago when I went to my daughter's house, it was 2 truckloads and a half, and a couple of, van loads, whatever. Now 5 truckloads, 10 with today's going to be 11 CRTs filled, and now I have to get a van tomorrow as well. That's
Yeah.
just, I think it needs, I need to sell. I need to, and I was thinking of having, just like Chuck's Corner, I was thinking of having Eddie's weekly sale corner just to sell those things that I have.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and I would definitely need to get rid of things I don't really care. Like for example, I'm looking right now in front of me. I have a cast iron clown from the 1920s bank. Okay, that's fine, but do I collect clowns from the 1920s cast iron bank? No. I just have it here. I have about 10, 15 of them. The reason I bought this, and there's a reason behind everything we do in life, is Joe, when I was a kid and even growing up, I remember seeing the haunted house mystery bag house, and it always said it had a hen coming out to the door. I've been searching for that particular version for over 30 something years, and in it I bought every monster bank, every hand bank. I got the ghoul's finger bank. If you look at, everybody knows it's called creepy or greedy fingers, the coffin bank. I have 11 different variations of that bank. 11. And
Wow.
many of them redouble. And I know I promised Joe an original tin one, which I have about 4 left because I had like 5 or 6, and I think I sent one to Todd. I don't remember, but I'm gonna basically try to find to get him one because he was crying that he was gonna buy one and it was $100, and the guy wouldn't. So I said, Joe, no
The
need to
guy wouldn't
cry.
budge.
The guy wouldn't budge.
Yeah. And so basically I said I'd probably get one to him, and this way he can tell the wife Eddie sent it to me. I didn't buy it.
Oh, there you go.
And he still charged me. He charged me double for this and made me pay it. Said
Yeah,
he
but-
was holding Chuck and his wife Cheri hostage until I paid this double price.
But collecting is fun, but sometimes collecting can be overwhelming. And when you have to, like, I could see, okay, you have a 10 by 10 foot storage, you got a couple of great items and expensive items, that's fine. But when you, like, right now, say if I want to move to Pennsylvania or something, how the hell am I going to move my entire stuff? I'm going to need a tractor trailer just to move my collection. I think that's a little bit far-fetched. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Although moving it out of storage where you put it on a bin and you go load it in a truck is one thing, but moving it out of my daughter's house, taking it up, that's a killer, man. Going from the basement upstairs, never again.
Wow.
So I'm just telling you guys that collecting is fine, and I know that wasn't it Cheri, didn't one time you threaten Chuck that you were gonna put him in the guillotine he had in the living room?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
he had enough magic in all the other rooms. I said,
So
just
head
leave
chopper.
leave my living room alone, untainted.
yeah, but
I
all you
see
have
a
to do
head
is
chopper. Yeah, I see a head chopper behind the chair. I said, this got to go. Did you sell it?
Yeah, I did. I
Yeah,
ended up
he ended up selling it.
Yeah.
But it
yeah,
was fun.
he goes to me, Eddie, don't say nothing, but you threatened to put me on it. She was gonna chop my head.
Yeah, it was getting out of hand, and it scared kids a lot. When I used that, like in
Well,
in schools and everything, all the kids were trembling. I'd chop a kid's head off, and it was,
that wasn't it. That's not
yeah,
just chop an arm off.
yeah. I just chop an arm off. No, that's enough.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was trying to get one. Another thing, even David said to me, Eddie, why are you buying all this magic stuff? And I go, I started buying a bunch of just buying magic because I always loved magic. And I started doing magic when I was like maybe, I don't know, 15, 16, and I was getting good at it. And I bought that deluxe TV magic set that was supposed to be, I got it when I was younger. And I started doing the deluxe one, the $100 one. Remember from the day, Joe?
Yeah, that's
the
a nice one.
Black box. Well, so I had that, and my brother was born. Right now, I'm already 15 at the time, and I've had this for like 10 years in mint condition. I kept working with the tricks. I knew how to do all of them. My brother comes one day. I go into my bedroom, and my brother is about 3-4 years old. He's on top of the bed. He's got the toy open, and everything's all over the place. I got, that I gave up on magic from that day. Like I just got disgusted and I never did it again. Like I didn't care. I wanted to clobber my brother. My mom is like, no, you can't. I was like, ooh, I wanted to hit him. But the thing is that he just, so ever since I've had a liking for magic. I love watching magic. I love to see how it's done. Even though I know how it's done, I still love to watch it. But one thing about it though, me actually doing it, I kind of didn't really do it after that,
Yeah, sure.
And that could have been, that's when I probably, because I was going to get a head chopper one time. I was looking at a 6-foot guillotine.
There you go.
They were selling it for $375. It was a real one. I mean, the one they had on one magician was using, and they had it on eBay, and they would send it. The shipping was like $120 or something like that because.
Oh yeah, they're pretty heavy. Yeah, they're pretty heavy.
But I was actually going to purchase it. And now I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with a guillotine? It's not like I'm going to use it.
Well, hey guys, I hate to jump in here, but we are down to about the last minute and 20 seconds, so we're going to wrap things up here. And I want to thank Chuck, Cheri, and Eddie for joining us today. And everybody out there, too, for joining us and listening. We are on every single week. So find us on your favorite podcast platform. Subscribe to our channel. Give us a great review because that does help us. Also, check out our YouTube channel, House of the Unusual. Subscribe to it, like our videos. There's currently 139 videos up there and more on the way. There's some premieres that are ready to go, and Eddie and Chuck are putting out videos every single week, so definitely check that out. Also, check us out on houseoftheunusual.com. We have a free forum site there. Why aren't you on there? And if you are, thank you for being on there. There's some great stuff going on. People are putting up some pictures of their collections and stuff, and there's some really cool items up there. Like we were just talking about Chuck's pamphlets and all that, and the toys that he's put up and that I've put up, and Eddie and everybody else. So definitely check that out. And hey, guys, that's all that we got for this week. So once again, thank you to everybody out there who's listening, and see you next week. Good night.
All
Good
right,
night. God bless, and good night, buddy.
Good night.